Okay, love that. Okay. Well, we will get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Grayson Fesperman. I'm the digital sales manager here, and I'm excited to chat with everyone about how to get or how to turn website visitors into leads. So, just a few housekeeping things. Please make sure as you join, you're on mute. That way, we can get through a lot of the content and really capture some of the value behind that. Also, we'll be watching the chat. So, if you have questions, you can put those in the chat. And then I have Cheyenne. She's our marketing manager. She'll be interrupting me gracefully and, asking these questions. And then, of course, I have some time built in the end for Q&A if anyone has any follow-up questions as well. Also, the slide deck you see today and the video recording, we're going to email it to everyone that signed up. So no worries there. No need to take frantic notes unless you really want to, but we'll be sending the slide deck and the video recording. Okay, a little bit about The Digital before we get started. So, The Digital has been in business for over 22 years. We're a full service web design and digital marketing agency located right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. We are a HubSpot solutions partner, so all things CRM. And again, I know we're talking about HubSpot today. We're Google partners, and we're also the highest rated Google agency in Raleigh. So for over 24 years, we are known as the SEO web design firm. People come to us when they want their online digital presence to turn into a 24/7 lead magnet tool for their business. I mean, who doesn't want to generate leads while they sleep, right? And so also in here, I have a link to more about us, and you can see some members of our management team below. And then, of course, more information about me. I am actually going on my 6th year here at The Digital. So, my job all day is I go out and meet with new businesses, organizations, really assess their digital presence and their tech stack, and then ultimately customize solutions that's going to be custom for their business to help them scale and grow. So, if you want to connect with me, we can connect, after this meeting, LinkedIn, and then there's my email as well. Okay, so let's get started. What is HubSpot? HubSpot is a CRM. If you've ever heard the term CRM, that stands for Client Relationship Management. So it is a tool for your business. Many years ago, it was enough just to have a website up. So if people were checking for you, you were there, or even like a landing page that had, some sort of like physical mark of your business online. And, now that we are getting ushered into the age of AI and technology is not going to slow down and things are not going to be how they were in the past, now, it's not even enough just to have a website anymore. Google is the number one search engine in the world, and how they maintain that status is by giving all of their search engine users plenty of content to entertain, inform, etc. So, in order to play with Google, we got to pay to play. How do we play? We make your website, AKA your digital business card, your digital storefront. It's your market share. It's what you own on the World Wide Web. So we go in and we help clients expand their digital presence. And when you do that through continuously adding content to the new website, social media management, Google business management, further optimizing the website. It's never a one and done sort of thing. So when you're adding new content, quality content for Google that allows them to know where to put that content in front of that search engine, that's where you start to grow. So again, having a website is definitely one step. Now, if your business or organization is built around lead generation, HubSpot is going to be a great tool for you to have, even if you're new. You have a website and people fill out a contact form or a phone call. A lot of the times when I'm talking with business owners, they're not tracking those things, and of course we help people establish that. But, it's really important that anyone that ever finds you, whether it's referral, online, phone call, you collect that information and you keep it stored and categorized so you can send them a marketing newsletter later. Anybody that gains interest in what you have to offer we need to be organizing that information. So, clients that come to us for web design, if they don't have a CRM and lead process and lead generation are vital for them, we get them started with the free version of HubSpot because we need to be able to track how many people are connecting from your contact form, how many people are calling in. So HubSpot helps you store and organize all contacts, leads on the website. It also is a marketing tool. It helps, automate follow-ups. You can have all of the client or company information stored in one place, and you can track all of the follow-ups. How many times this person viewed your website? How many times this person, filled out a contact form? Who's followed up from your business or organization. It's able to track the entire life cycle of when someone reaches out to your business to hopefully converting them to a customer. And then also, HubSpot is a service tool. So, for many businesses that have a maintenance or service division, it's really an all in one tool. So, again, if lead generation is really important for your business, I highly recommend looking into a CRM tool. HubSpot is one of the best ones, which is again why we partner with them after being in business for 22 years. And it has a lot of the most tracking information so we can truly analyze what's working. The most beautiful thing about digital marketing is that every single thing is trackable. So with HubSpot, everything lives in one place. So, how does lead generation work? Someone visits your website, they see an offer, they fill out a contact form, you follow up, and then they become a customer. So again, HubSpot, from the day that person calls in, fills out a contact form, goes to your website, HubSpot, the CRM tool, is going to track every process of that lead. So what does this help with? It makes sure that no leads slip through the crack. I mean, has anybody ever been so busy in their day-to-day job that you haven't even had time to look at the leads that come in, right? Well, speed to lead is extremely important. And when people reach out for your services, they want to feel important. So if it's taking someone, more than a few hours to circle back, how important does that person feel, right? And also, a lot of the times it's first to the lead, first to the sale. And so speed to lead is really important. How fast are you connecting? But again, if all of your leads are not coming in one place, or you don't have an optimized website with contact forms or any type of call tracking, these are things that allows money and potential business growth goals and revenue go to the wayside. So step one, you can create really simple landing pages. So again, this is what we're doing. We're how to turn website visitors into leads. So it starts with creating really simple landing pages on your website. So a landing page is when someone gives you their information. So be sure to keep it really, really simple. HubSpot has a landing page builder. They have forms in which you can connect those forms to your website. So as soon as someone fills out a contact form on your website, boom, it's getting funneled right into HubSpot. There's no manually moving the lead over from your email to the CRM. It's just done automatically, right? How beautiful is that? So keeping it really, really clear on your landing pages, have an extremely clear headline. Who it is, what your main service is, what is the offer there. Keep it in short form, plain language. You are the expert at your role, your industry, your position. The person that is reaching out to you is not the expert. So are your landing pages have too much content on them to where, a person is skimming a page and they're only absorbing a small percentage of that, but it's enough that they want to reach out. So again, make sure we're putting our landing pages, keep them really simple, short form. And then of course, most importantly, make sure that they're mobile friendly. Google has a really, really great tool. It's called Google Page Speed Insights, to where you can test your landing pages. You can copy and paste the URL of that single page, put it into Google Page Speed Insights, and it's going to give you a score from mobile friendly to desktop friendly. And so these are things, if you're in a role where, you know, more than 50% of your leads or people who find you are coming from mobile search and your website is failing, mobile core speed, that's an issue. You're creating a barrier in front of your business. It's like putting a close sign on the front door, right? So again, we're no longer in the age where, a simple logo and a contact form will do. We have to very clearly define who we are, what we offer, and add value. And that brings us into number 2, offer something valuable. People do not give their emails for nothing, right? So, the new form of your social security number is emails, right? You buy something from a website or you sign up for, an industry publication newsletter, right? This is you intentionally interested in a product or service or information. So, again, if someone is giving you their email, you know, offer something valuable. We call these lead magnets. So, for example, offer a free guide or free download, a checklist, or maybe you're in a role where templates. Hey, if you are looking to prepare your taxes, your end of year taxes, download our pre tax checklist, right? Or maybe offer a webinar. We offer different types of trainings, webinars, consultations. We report on different industries. These are free and valuable information that we're giving to our clients or anyone who's heard of us and is interested in what we offer. So again, think about your audience. What type of tools do people utilize to kind of engage with you, and what can you offer that's something valuable that would really make that person want to take that step further and make that phone call or fill out that contact form? Ask yourself, would I give my email for this? And if the answer is no, then maybe it's not valuable. So how do you know if something's valuable? Ask your clients. What is something that they really really take away, or a differentiator? Number 3, use forms and clear CTAs. CTAs are called call to actions. So use forms and clear call to actions. A call to action is the action we want that visitor to take on the website. So a lot of times on websites they'll say call now button, book now. Having those buttons to where people don't have to scroll to the bottom of the page to find your contact form or even go up to your navigation and click contact. The more steps that you put, or the more steps a potential new client or customer has to take to even connect with you are just barriers. Make it really, really easy for them to clearly convert. So, making sure that you have strong button text, download, get the guide, call now, grow your business today. And again, don't complicate it. Also don't duplicate, your call to actions, be creative and, speak to a pain or a reason as to why that person should take that action. And then be sure to put forms where traffic is already existing on your website. So when you are looking at HubSpot, HubSpot tells you what page of your website that a person found you on, visits, how many times they visit, and what page on your website that they are converting to have you reach out to them. So HubSpot is a great tool for figuring out what are the most popular pages on your website. And those pages that are giving heavy amounts of traffic, do I have contact forms on those pages? Do I have clear call to actions, right? So we want to put forms where traffic already exists. So again, looking at your high visited pages, always put them on your blog post, your case studies, your service pages, of course, right? Your services are your offerings. So always put a clear form or a clear call to action on those pages. any of your resource pages, again, those lead forms that we mentioned, anywhere in which people are going to give you their information, whether they may not be a lead, they may sign up for your newsletter or your webinar. Either way, this person is interested in what you offer. Step 4, follow up automatically. Most leads don't convert right away. So set up a really simple automation in HubSpot. And again, this goes back to what I mentioned earlier, speed to lead. If you are a lead generation based business and you take a few hours to get back to someone, have that, take that off of your mental load, take it off of your plate. You can set up an automation in HubSpot to where as soon as someone fills out a contact form, they get a welcome email. And then if that person doesn't respond, or maybe they're not clicking the schedule a consultation or whatever it may be, HubSpot will automatically create a next step to follow up again, and a reminder, and then a last email and offer to book a call. So in HubSpot, we have things called workflows to where you can set up and say, okay, this contact form, when a lead comes in, they're going to get this email. And then 8 hours later, they're going to get this follow-up email. So you can put things on a cadence within HubSpot and take that off of your plate. And HubSpot, again, in addition to categorizing those leads, will help you pursue those leads and nurture them. You can personalize email templates in HubSpot. You can create saved templates. So if you write the same email X amount of times over, whether it's a welcome email or a proposal or a consultation or whatever your sales process is, you can personalize emails to where you can set up everything, upload documents, put in a calendar invite, a meeting link, and then you can personalize those emails, giving the personalization tokens in there. Number 5, you can track what's working in HubSpot. Just remember, if you don't measure it, you can't improve it. Focus on how many leads are you receiving per month? Where are those leads coming from, right? Are they from ads or are they from organic efforts? Organic efforts being your website, could be an incoming call, could also be, a Google business. They could be calling you from the maps, right? So all of those leads, how many are you getting per month? And then what are the conversion rates of those leads? So if I get 20 leads this month, how many of those leads actually converted? Right? So if we're getting leads, why are these leads not converting? Are they unqualified? Are they spam? Did I not get to them fast enough? Because maybe they called the second competitor after you and they spoke to someone, right? So that's why automating and having a CRM that can help you take some of these, next steps, and you're getting speed to the lead, you're getting there before your competitors. All of these things improve your conversion rates. Also, if you're running ads, what is your cost per lead? Are you, Google ads, or you have it on a set budget? If you have a set budget with Google, they're going to utilize your budget every single time. Our we have an entire paid advertising team here at The Digital, and all they do are different Google ads, Facebook ads, TikTok, all platforms, and they are constantly looking at the data every single day. So often when I'm speaking with people, they're leaving it on set it and forget it. But if you're not tracking the return on the investment for the marketing dollars that you are investing, that's something that you want to pay close attention to. And in an industry like roofing, highly competitive, extremely expensive, campaigns to run. So if one client has a budget of $100,000 a month and another client has a budget of $2,000 per month, but the $2,000 a month client is getting a better cost per lead, it's all about how well your targeting is set up. And are you actually tracking what is the cost for that lead? You know, if you're spending $20,000 a month on marketing and you get one lead to convert and that project is worth 50K, your month of marketing has paid for it plus some. So these are the things that we track for our clients. We set up call tracking data, monitoring tools, and we can track every single dollar they spend with us. The last thing you want to make sure that you're tracking what's working is when you're sending emails, newsletters, or even sales promotions, you can see out of, let's say you email 100 people, you can see in HubSpot how many people opened the email, how many people clicked the link in that email. If you have a really strong call to action, which I recommend in all emails, book a meeting, give me a call, let's schedule some time to chat. It'll have click and then it converts. So again, not only is HubSpot storing and managing all of your leads, your contacts, right? But it's also tracking the activity. So whether you are utilizing HubSpot for sales and cold calling and self-generation, or if you're working on inbound leads and things like that, it's going to track every single step of the lead board process. And then just some other tools when you're ready. Once you have your landing pages, your contact forms are connected through HubSpot, you have, some really valuable information to which, we can convert that person to subscribe or reach out or provide their email. And you're tracking to see what works and you're constantly improving the value of what works, right? So once you have all of those things set up, you know, we can then start to focus on search engine optimization. That's SEO. That's when we're blogging for traffic. This is when we are, showcasing your projects or talking about really interesting industry topics, right, that are pertinent to the everyday customer audience. Social media, really start driving in social media. And, social media has different platforms that add value to different areas. For example, Instagram is a really great platform for highlighting company culture. So, you want to have, employee of the month, employee birthdays. Hey, here's a peek behind the scenes of our warehouse. Hey, good job. So and so, volunteered at the Olympics, the Special Olympics. That's where you really highlight company culture. So, really ramping up and being consistent across the board. We'll start adding some chat bots. That way people who have some common FAQ and maybe they call after hours or whatever the case may be, they can still not leave your website, but still engage with your website, get value. Now, and then we can also, take it a step further and do some retargeting. If you're going into a busy season, so, we have springtime coming up here, landscaping, pest control, all of those exterior type of home services, they're going to be ramping up into their busy season soon. So for businesses that have not been investing in SEO or, a lot of these other things that we've mentioned, they're going to have to, really lean in towards the paid advertising area. And so that's when you're, kind of renting to be number one on Google for a specific term. So again, there's lots of things we can do, but we really want to start simple first with the basics. So here's a 30-day action plan. 4 weeks. Week one, improve one landing page and shorten all of the forms on your website. Remember, the more information you require and ask for, the less likely that person is to convert. Make it simple, make it easy. I love online shopping on my phone versus my iPad. And I was always an iPad girly. But now I love that I can simply go to Apple Pay, click the side of my button, and boom, all of my information is given, and that's it. The more, again, barriers or steps or information, we want to capture people at the height of the impulse. And your website has done their job if they're ready to reach out to you, and you have done yours when you've improved, a lot of what they're seeing. So, week two, create one lead magnet, create one value offer. Could be a checklist, could be a download, could be a, hey, this is how to start preparing for spring in your lawn. And then week two, set up one equal email sequence. go into HubSpot and you can say, okay, I want to set up a new lead email sequence. So that way, if I am in the field or if I am busy and I'm not able to get to that lead immediately, an immediate email will be triggered. So they will have a point of contact and they know I will be following up with them shortly. Or what I like to do is I like to have a calendar invite, some meeting link in there. So that way on the spot, they can go ahead and convert themselves and schedule that next step. Make your life easy, and HubSpot does that. Week 3, add your call to actions to the top 5 pages on your website. Where can you really verbiate the action that you want people to take? Save X amount of dollars, prepare for spring, call today and get your free at-home consultation or whatever it may be. Adding those call to actions that are going to make people want to, oh, yeah, I need to contact this person. And then week 4, review the results. Look at the landing pages, look at the forms. How many people, responded to your email sequence? How many people, downloaded your lead magnet tool? And then look at the rest of your pages and utilize what's underperforming. Some common mistakes we see and again, my job all day is to wake up brand new and meet brand new people. So all I hear are different stories and different challenges and opportunities. So common mistakes all the way across the board I see when I'm looking at websites or kind of helping people elevate their HubSpot skills is a lot of times we're asking for too much information on those contact forms or the landing page. You're just, again, too many steps. And we're in a world where people like to watch, 15-second videos. So again, it's not about, it's all about adapting to the way your audience wants to connect with you. And smart businesses adapt and grow, just like business owners and salespeople and marketing people. Google could throw out a big algorithm update tomorrow, and every single marketing person would be, rushing to become an expert. We all do this. It's pivoting, right? No follow up emails. A lot of times when businesses reach out and, we offer marketing coaching for HubSpot and then sales coaching, I do the sales. What I'm saying is that people will respond to a lead and then never follow up again. HubSpot automatically will create a follow up task for you. So you don't have to worry about that. But a lot of times leads are slipping through the cracks. So again, HubSpot is an all in one tool to ensure that that doesn't happen. A lot of times there's not any clear call to actions. I have to go hunting for that contact page, or I even have to get off of the website and find their Facebook page to figure out what the email is or what their phone number is. Over automating, you can over automate things. At the end of the day, humans will never go out of style because people want that human connection. Yes, we love technology, we love information, we want to gain new skill sets, but when we're talking about spending money, or a lot of times it's people's livelihoods, their roles, what is it that you're looking to grow this year? People come to me and they say it's leads, but ultimately I know it's to scale their business, to either, pass that business down, sell it, or flip it and do another thing or whatever it may be, or they're starting a family business. But don't forget to always put in that human element of interaction. Make sure that you're not sending people paragraphs. I love to send videos to clients via email, just to say, hey, I'm a real person. And then the last common mistake is a lot of people set it and forget it. They don't follow up. They put all this work into improving their websites, their landing pages, coming up with these really awesome lead magnets. So again, those value offers that we're giving people that come to your site, and they don't even check the outcome. And a lot of times I'm like, oh my gosh, on the sales side, you created this cold email to send to construction companies, highlighting, one of our biggest construction clients. And out of 100 emails you sent, 61 people opened it. Whoa. 41 people clicked the next step button. So again, analyzing the data, really following up and checking on your work. And just remember, when you start the 4-week plan and you rinse and repeat, what does that success look like? More qualified leads. Not just more leads, not more unqualified, not more spam. You're getting more qualified leads because you're offering more quality content. You're going to have much higher conversion rates because people aren't having to take the extra steps to contact you or find you. You're going to have way better market visibility. And also, you're going to have visibility into the performance of your marketing. So, again, you're not just dumping barrels of money in a marketing campaign and crossing your fingers and hope what works. That's kind of like dumping, fire on it and watching the money burn. No, 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 no. We're going to track everything. Your dollar is your hard earned dollar. Why not track how it's being spent and what was the return on investment of that spend? I can say that's what we do for our clients. We offer extremely transparent reporting. We actually work right out of their accounts so they see what we see. So we have to we have to track the turn on investment. And so, very make sure that, you know, we do clear reporting for leadership. HubSpot has these really great dashboards that you can customize based around the information you want to see. So, what to do next? Pick one improvement. Pick one service off your service page. Really focus on the layout of that page, putting call to actions there, making sure that you have your keywords sprinkled in, and also make sure that you add some sort of value add. Can you give someone, hey, check out our HubSpot webinar by signing up for our HubSpot playlist? Or, hey, check out our, checklist or whatever it may be, whatever applies to your business. Or, hey, signs it's time to get a new roof, right? And then implement it this month. Well, I guess we're February 19th. So do the research, set the goal for March, and focus on implementing it. Say, hey, I'm going to start with this one page. I'm going to revise it, get everything I learned from this call, and I'm going to track the results of that page. How many people are actually finding the page? What are the results? And then continuously improve from there. And then the next month, pick another page. Simple beats complicated. You don't have to produce all this content at once because you want to make sure that you're adding value. Now, the caveat to that, and again, this is for anyone that's really doing it themselves, if you are engaged or partnering with a marketing company, if you are helping with content or if they're doing it all, obviously that's the capacity to where we can actually push out relevant quality content. So if you're a business owner and you're like, man, when do I have the time to do this? Or I don't even know what keyword research is, and I know it's not enough just for me to throw a page up. If you guys are wanting any help or have any questions, we would love to help you implement this. This is what our team does. We help businesses. We make sure their HubSpot is set up correctly. We help build landing pages, create those automation workflows that ultimately improve lead conversion. So if you're interested, let's chat. I'm really excited to chat with any one of you guys. And if you're interested in either the marketing, the HubSpot setup, or even getting your sales reps to kind of use the tool day in and day out, we'd love to help. And I'll turn it over for questions. Let's see here if I can find the chat.